All right, so today's video is going to be about choosing to walk with God, and he's not a vending machine, okay? Now, some people think that the Christian walk is easy. They think that, oh, I can follow after God and he'll give me everything I want. So they pray, a lot of people, for what they want, whether that's a promotion, more money, a new car, a girlfriend, a spouse, a family, and they just follow God for what I call, most people look at the benefit package. They treat it like it's, oh, I get all these bonuses, I don't have to do anything for it. Well, you actually have to follow it. Now, Paul even said it, and I believe Jesus made reference to it in one of his parables. No, it was Paul. Yeah, he said, don't take following Christ lightly. Take full measure. You wouldn't start a building without taking a full estimate of the cost. Okay, you would see how much material is going to cost, how much is the labor going to cost, who am I going to hire for it. And as it builds, because if you run out of money halfway through, it's going to be a half-made structure, and people are going to laugh at you. They're going to be like, haha, look at this guy. You have built a house, you didn't have enough money, huh? They're just going to mock you. And you're going to look real stupid with a half-built house that you can't finish. And you have to take a measure of what it means to follow God. Now, this is for people that want to actually follow him. I'm not talking about salvation and being saved and, you do your works and all that. But works don't save you. But this is for people that want to be like the apostles, that want to actively follow God. And a lot of people start down this path without taking a full measure of what it means. They think the Christian walk is easy, and if I do it, then God's going to give me everything is going to be easy. It's not. Okay, this Christian walk is not easy. Okay, you are hated. You are despised. You will find yourself often rejected, because Jesus was rejected through his entire ministry. Some loved him, but most rejected and hated him. His own enemies put him to death, and eventually they got the crowd stirred up. Were people that said his name, Hosanna, and were praising him with palm branches as he came into the city. Within a matter of, I believe, days, they turned on him. And they were cursing him and saying to crucify and kill him. And that just shows how quick people can turn. And a lot of people start down this path, and they realize how hard it is. They realize how much of a challenge there is, how much backlash they face, how much hatred they face, and the spiritual attacks, and just the struggle to be a Christian. And a lot of them turn away, because I believe they start down they start down the path, but they don't take a measure of what it means. Now, I walked away from church years ago, became a prodigal. I wasn't ready for that stress, and part of it was when I realized, what you had to do and what all this, I walked away from it. And I also believe I was sent away because I wasn't ready. I think God knew that. He said, this guy's not ready, and so he let me wander. Now that I'm back, I'm actually taking measure over the years of what it costs, and I'm fully ready to pay that. And there's truth to it. There is Jesus, because look at the apostles, okay? Look at how they died. Even look at how Paul died, okay? These men did not deny God, even though they faced persecution. All right? And if you look at it, every apostle, except for John, who was sent into exile on Patmos, where he wrote Revelations, he is the only apostle that survived. Every other apostle was killed, executed for their faith. Every one of them. Some of them were ran through. I know at least Peter, another one, were crucified. One was sawed in half, I believe. And you can read about all these horrible deaths they went through. And yet they didn't deny God. So how can people say there's no Jesus and no God? Then what did these men die for? If there was no true faith and they didn't believe in God, why would they go through such painful executions and endure such hate and rejection for nothing? There had to be something to it, didn't there? So you have to take measure of what it means to truly walk after God. Okay, you will get blessings that are within His will for your life. But also, you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice yourself. Your dreams, your ambitions, you have to surrender to God and say, like Jesus did in the Garden of Gethsemane, not my will, but your will be done. You have to come to a conclusion of it and take a measure of, are you willing to die for your faith? The world's going into a darker place. Even now, worldwide, there are Christians that are tortured and executed for their faith. Us in America and even Canada, we're facing persecution, but nothing like that. People aren't coming dragging you out of your house and arresting you and torturing you and, taking you off the census. But they do it to Christians. And so you have to ask yourself, are you ready to take that step in your faith? Are you ready to be a martyr? And are you ready to die for God? You have to be willing to do it. That is a true measure of faith. People follow along on the walk, and the one minute it gets hard or they face a little pushback or a challenge, and they fold like paper because they didn't take a full measure of what it means. Yes, you can be saved through His sacrifice on the cross and His completed work, and you can go to heaven. But at some point, if somebody walks up to you, and if you're in, say, another country and you're missionary, and they say, deny God, or we're going to kill you. I want to show you a cool looking beetle. He's on a flower. Beetle. Anyways, you have to choose. They say, will you deny God, or we are going to torture and we are going to, execute you. But if you deny God, and your faith will let you go. And at some point during it, you have to take measure of that cost. Are you willing to pay the ultimate price? Are you willing to die for what you believe in, for God? Jesus was. He went fully to the cross, and even though He was in the garden, He said, not my will, but your will be done. He had faith, and He submitted Himself to the Father's will. He went to the cross willingly, out of love for us. But are you willing to give up the same thing? Because it says, he who follows after me and loses his life will find it, but he who clings to his life will lose it. You follow God, you have the new life and a purpose. But if you cling to this world, the old faith, and you don't crucify the old man and die to yourself, then you will lose your life. And you have to take a full measure What does it mean to follow? That's what the video is about mainly. It's just think and ponder. Are you ready to pay this price as an apostle? Okay, that's if you choose to go down this route of actively serving God in these other countries and missionaries and stuff. Are you willing to die, as many have, for your faith? And even if you face persecution wherever you are, as it's going to get worse and worse, and already Christians are facing persecution, are you going to do it? Are you going to stand for God and your faith? Have you taken a full measure of what it means? What it means to die to yourself, to give up your dreams, your ambitions, and submit yourself to the Father's will for your life. You can have dreams and you can have goals, but are you willing to submit those to God's will and let Him shape your life and guide your path? Or are you going to keep resisting and not follow His path for your life? Look at Peter is also one that I look at is one. He denied God 3 times, right? And yet what did he do? He repented and God restored him. He'll do the same for you. But are you willing to follow? It's a hard path to walk. Don't just think He's a magic genie that you just, oh, I'm going to follow God and I'm going to get everything I want. You'll get what's within His will for your life, and that's submitting to Him. It's very hard. Many Christians haven't got the submission part down. They haven't fully surrendered. They're following God and they believe in sacrifice, but a lot of them are not willing to die to self. A lot of them aren't willing to give up their own, ambitions. What it means is you can have stuff and like a house and all this, but if God asks you, hey, I want you to go here and spread the gospel, are you willing to go in faith, pick yourself up, and move to a completely different country if He calls you to, and spread the gospel where you could potentially be executed? That is the measure you have to take. Are you willing to pay the ultimate price like Jesus for your faith and for God? Are you willing to lay down your life? That is what it means to truly walk after God and to be submitted to the Father's will. You have to be willing to pay that ultimate price. There's been a voice in the wilderness, soldier, bondservant of Christ. Whenever you see this, have a blessed day or night. And just stay safe in these dark and crazy times and take a measure. You can follow God and it is great. But just take a full measure, as Paul says. Make sure you know what the cost is going to be, and are you willing to pay that cost for eternal paradise and life? You have to choose. Am I going to die to self? And will I submit to my Father's will? Have a blessed day. Amen.